Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Behind the Group podcast. I am DJ Keo.
And I am Basil Barrington. And today we had another flick we watched. And wow, this flick here, let me just get to it here. This flick here, Extraction, another Netflix show or movie. Dude, oh my goodness. This was a surprise to me.
This is always going to be a Netflix movie. Mm-hmm. I think Netflix approached the Russo brothers after they finished Marvel movies, Endgame, Infinity War, and they're working on a project, and they got Chris Hemsworth in it, and they just made this movie. But this was always supposed to be on Netflix. It wasn't like a movie that was failed to be in box office that didn't get there. And they put together a blockbuster that is solid, from top to bottom.
This movie here, man, it was a lot of Swiss cheesing in this joint. Cats is like a little military mercenary sort of flick. It was pretty interesting. Okay, so another foreign flick.
Yeah, I guess it counts.
I guess that counts. I mean, it was shot in Bangladesh.
The Russo brothers is the only people that are American that's part of this thing. Everybody else is from another country.
Right. It was shot on location in Dhaka, Bangladesh. And wow, the budget for this flick was like $65 million. Wow.
Yeah, you could tell they spent, because this is what I said. When you got a car chase, it's inside, no budget.
Yeah.
Outside car chase, budget. They had helicopters. They're shooting rocket launchers. They had a crazy chase scene. They're flipping cars over. They were driving through a market full of people. Mm-hmm. They spent money on this movie. You can tell.
This was serious, man. It was weird because so first of all, the IMDb rating is 6.7 out of 10. 178,000 reviews. You know,
I disagree with that rating. Really? I 100% disagree with that rating. It should be way higher than that.
This movie here. You know what's interesting about IMDb, just really quickly? You got to read the reviews, because the reviews, man, some of the reviewers, they say a lot and they drop a lot of gems and jewels. And I'm just like, oh, okay, the reviews are pretty awesome. That's pretty cool. This flick here, man, it was when it opened. Well, how about we do this? Let's go over, give a brief overview of the movie, and then we'll get into some of the giggles.
So the basic synopsis is there's two warring drug dealers from I think
India and Bangladesh. Mm-hmm.
And so they're trying to kidnap one of the sons from one of the warlords, drug dealers, and they call in Chris Hemsworth to extract his son. Mm-hmm. And things go awry, if you will, throughout the city. So they're on location. They're really going through this stuff, and
they're on location, dude.
Yeah, you feel like, oh, this is for real. Like, there's real people like that down there, and it feels authentic. Put it to you mildly. Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel like here's some extras that are from New York. We just threw them down here. Okay, look scary. Like the people in here, they look like they're 100% authentic. There's no fake actors in here. Yeah, you believe it. I'll put it like that.
Yeah, those extras were from Bangladesh.
Yeah, like it is legit.
Yeah, it's pretty cool,
I know
man.
people from there, and they're like, yeah, this is some real stuff right here.
This is it. Man, the streets are so small out there, aren't they?
Yeah, well, because, North America is only designed for cars. All these other places, they're designed for, you got a bike,
rickshaws and everything like that.
Rickshaw, like whatever. Like,
in the opening scene, when they were just like flying over this city, I thought it was the Gaza Strip, because I was like, wow, look at all these homes or whatever they were, all close, and you couldn't see streets or anything like that. I thought it was the Gaza Strip, but come to find out, it was Bangladesh. So very interesting.
You didn't know anything about this movie when you saw it? Like, it was like 100% just raw.
I had Absolutely no idea about this movie. Like I said, I'm totally
Mhm.
into military mercenary sort of flicks. I'm
Yes.
not a huge Chris Hemsworth fan, which is why it was on my list for a really long time. I watched the trailer a few
Thor,
times and I
man.
was like, yeah, I know. I was like, I guess I still have to watch Thor to like, I guess appreciate him,
You
really.
need to watch Thor, man. You really do.
I keep
You
saying I'm gonna do that, but I'm gonna definitely get to it.
Yeah.
But this movie here, wow. I mean, okay, so here's some. I just want to talk about something that they really
Mhm.
didn't need in this movie. When he was just chilling out with his friends, his other sort of mercenary friends, and they were someplace in the mountains, and he jumped
Mhm.
off this cliff and into this water. What it was like 100, 200 feet up. He jumped into this pool of water, and then he was just sitting on the bottom of the water of the
Yeah.
ocean or whatever. It's just like, why? Why do we need that? Why was that all about? I don't get that. You know,
I think that I guess it's to give you the interpretation that
he's a
he's
badass.
kind of, I guess, suicidal and a badass, I
Yeah,
guess. Like
Mhm.
both of them together. Or like he's not 100% at peace with
He's
himself. I don't know.
deranged.
That
He's
was
got
it
to
was a crazy
be.
shot though with that jump, man. That was a crazy
Yeah,
shot. They gave a kind of a backstory, like a fairly brushed in that he does this kind of stuff for a living,
yeah,
and he's a badass. Like
yeah,
they're like he's a badass. Watch him jump off this cliff. He's a badass. All right, we're
yeah,
gonna show you he's a badass. All right, go
hmm
start the movie. Go.
yeah. Yeah, they again, this was a pretty interesting movie. This movie was, I thought, I watched this, I sat down, watched this movie. I couldn't like leave because I was glued to the television.
Yeah,
Um
absolutely.
this thing was action packed from the beginning to the end. Even though they had the little small like, okay, we have to show,
Mhm.
the emotions of like,
Yeah.
you
Once it
know,
starts, it's
yeah,
going full tilt.
right.
And like the Russo brothers did a Winter Soldier, and I think that kind of cemented them for like their style of action.
Mhm.
Winter Soldier is my favorite all-time Marvel movie.
Really?
Above Endgame, above all this stuff, Winter Soldier is the best one they made.
Okay, I gotta
I
watch
think it's
that.
the best Marvel movie. Yeah,
Okay.
it's Captain
Um,
America
it's kind okay. I'm still gonna watch it.
though.
Yeah, this was again, the action was, it was just crazy. The
Phenomenal.
location, I mean, it was on location in Bangladesh, so you can't front on that, right? That was
Did you
awesome.
did you see any of the behind the scenes stuff that they did that showed you how they filmed the scenes?
I did not. They have that on
Like the police.
Netflix.
Yeah, you can see these. You can see some clips like
Hmm.
them flying off of a building and like the car chase scene.
Hmm.
It shows you how they put it together.
Did he do his own
They
stunts?
He did a lot of stunts. I don't think he
Okay.
did everything,
Mm.
but they got to save him for the Marvel. This is between the Marvel movies. Like they had to
Yeah.
save him for that.
A
You
little
can't
bag
hurt this
between
guy.
movies, right?
For this money
Yeah.
maker right here. You can't mess them up. So
Right.
I don't think he's allowed to do most of his stunts if they're probably like, hey, cut that out.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's some behind the scenes stuff that shows you like the fight scenes and everything's intense. Like
Hmm.
they really did a solid job. And it goes back to how I was talking about with the gunpowder milkshake, where
Hmm.
this movie here, you're like, oh, that's Chris Hemsworth. He's actually doing that.
Yeah.
Like he's legitimately, he picked up a gun. I could see him doing that. Like
Hmm.
it wasn't like that looks silly. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is like 100%. Oh, that guy was on the range. He 30 yards. He could do that. He could hit that shot. Like that's what you feel watching this movie.
I mean,
There's
he
not a second
served.
you're like, nah.
Yeah, I mean, he served some tours in Afghanistan. He's an ex-military guy. Who knows? I mean,
Mhm.
maybe he was like SEAL Team 6 or something like that. I don't know what they have in Australia, but maybe he was special ops or something. He was serious. I mean, he came from
Mhm.
that sort of sector of the military where, black ops and things of that nature. He was serious. He was Swiss cheesing folks. He
Guess. Yeah.
this was again action packed. The other thing was, so you had like the two drug lords. You had one in India. The Indian drug lord was in jail,
Mhm.
and so he had sort of his right hand man sort of handling things. And then you
Yeah,
had
and then
this
he
guy in
died.
right Bangla who was also like ex military, ex special ops. which
Mm.
is why he was like just Swiss cheesing folks up as well.
Yeah, his counterpart. That
Right.
dude was badass, all right?
He was
I
bad,
hope he
dude.
makes
I'm
some
telling
Hollywood
you.
movies. That guy was
Yeah.
badass.
He was bad, dude. And then you had like the drug lord in Bangladesh, and it was just like he basically ran the city. That was
Mhm.
he had control over like the government basically, like the police.
Yeah, the local government, whatever, like, once you're at that
Yeah.
level, I think you're pretty much running things, and they just
In
go through
in a
you.
country like that, you would think,
Yeah.
but wow. So okay, so yeah, so this boy, he's a rich boy, he goes to school, he has drivers, things of that nature. They go out to a club. That's the other thing. It's like, I'll meet you at the club in 30 minutes. It's just like these guys are like 14,
Why?
15 in a club, like drinking, looking at women, looking at girls. It's just like, and then him and his boy go out in the back
It gets snatched
to,
up.
yeah, to smoke a little, left-handed cigarette. And these cops, or they just kill this like young boy, shoot him in the head.
Mhm.
That
Yeah,
was
they're not
crazy.
playing.
Yeah. And
This thing, all the premises for these types of movies, it's always a thing that it's not normal. Whatever the thing is, like if you're supposed to go home at 2 o'clock, you're like, well, today we're gonna go hang out hang out till 4.
yeah.
Like they're always deviating off of whatever they're supposed to be doing on a daily basis, and
Hmm.
it kind of gets them into trouble here. And that's the thing that it always drives me crazy because they need a reason for this thing to happen.
Yeah.
So there's always we're breaking protocol or we're not following directions, whatever. It's always something like that. And I was like, do you not see the situation you're in? Like, I know
Yeah.
you're a kid. You think everything's good. Like, I don't know how much he knows what his father does. Well,
He
his
know. I
father's in
mean,
jail.
he
He has to
knows.
know
He knows.
something.
He knows completely. He's like, my father killed people. Blah blah blah. I mean, and remember, he actually ended up killing a person himself. He shot this guy twice. Killed him. Just like,
Yeah, yeah.
wow. Okay.
Well, that's in the heat of the thing. Like, you just all right.
Yeah.
Gotta do the stuff. But I'm just saying, like, I think that a lot of these movies, they always have people doing out of character things to get them into the situation.
Hmm.
Like I would prefer everybody's doing their job and they got Swiss cheesed up, and that's how you got him there,
Yeah.
rather than the kid was just being reckless.
Hmm.
I
Now,
don't know. That bothers me.
this movie here really didn't. It really didn't have any crazy special effects. It was shot on location, so it was pretty raw in that sense. Um, you had like some bang bang, lots of bang bang scenes, lots of
Yeah,
like shooting, lots of killing. I mean, this guy,
yeah.
basically almost killed the entire military. Just like, wow,
He
really?
slaughtered a lot of people. He took them
Like,
out.
how did that happen? I mean, is he that good? And then
Mm.
also a lot of the drug lord, henchmen as well. His goons, he killed a lot of those guys as well. And then he had a team with him, and they helped out towards the end as well.
Yeah, when the
But here's the
helicopters.
thing: so like they got this job, like, hey, go get my son. We'll rescue my son, extract my son,
Mm.
and I'll give you this money. But the the drug lord in India, secondhand man, was the contact person. He was like, you know what? I'm going to bring the son and keep the money myself. And so that's
Mm.
how he kind of got involved. And
Yeah,
yeah, I was just like, oh wow, okay, so here's a little twist right here. It's all about money, yada yada yada. And I was like, oh, okay, so this is what it's all
yeah,
about. Did this movie feel a little Jason Bourne-ish to you?
yeah. Absolutely. That's the
Mhm.
aesthetic that I think they're going for.
Yeah.
Because like Jason Bourne had a movie, I think it's the second one. It's not Supremacy,
Mhm.
where he was in India.
That's the first
Uh,
one.
no, it's the second one. The first one he was in Paris. He was hiding out with this. Well, like, it's irrelevant, but
Hmm.
yeah, it had that vibe. It had that feeling
Yeah.
of just fighting with my hand, fighting with
Hmm.
whoever I got, like that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
it like the plot to me was almost unimportant. It was about here's Thor. He's gonna do some awesome stuff with some guns. Go. That's all you had to sell for. You're like we were doing a pitch meeting for the movie.
Here's
We
Thor.
got the
He's gonna
guys
make a
to win.
bag before Thor. Mhm.
Yeah, this guy here, super badass. Everybody loves him. Here's the directors who made one of the highest grossing movies of all time. Go.
Wow.
Figure out the plot on the way. Like that's a you didn't have to sell. I think Netflix was just like whatever you say. Don't even finish that sentence. Here's a bag of money. Thank you. Just
Yeah.
finish the thing. Just drop it on the desk when you're done. Don't even worry about it. Like
Now,
that's a no brainer.
I will say this about the movie, and I don't generally say this, but the movie was long enough. I had no problem with the length of the movie,
Yeah,
because it
that's
was just
fair.
so much going on. Like this was an almost 2 hour movie. It was
Yeah,
so
it's
much going
an
on throughout the
hour and
entire movie.
56 minutes long,
Yeah,
but you do not look at time when you're watching this movie. The movie's
no,
just going.
not at all.
Chug it
You,
all
you're
on.
you're putting it on. You're on big screen, 4K, and you're watching it, and you're glued to the television. And it's just like,
Mhm,
wow, this joint is bananas. I mean, like I
mhm,
said, I'm not a Chris Hemsworth sort of fan. I will watch
mhm.
Thor, but I'm just not a fan. But I mean, again, if you're gonna do sort of military flicks like this, um,
Mm.
mercenary flicks like this is how you do it. You know, this
'Cause
is
I don't
exactly
think
how you do it.
Chris hasn't done a lot of like movies in general.
Hmm.
I think Thor was his first breakout big movie for himself.
Okay.
And then so he did Thor, he did both Thors, he did Avengers, and I think he did like this Black Hat movie where he's like a hacker, which is ridiculous in itself. I
Hmm.
don't believe that guy's a hacker. I don't think he knows how to turn on a computer. But like this I believe.
Yeah.
So like he did that. Like he's mostly done the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
So like he doesn't have that much stuff on his belt outside of the Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
And like
The-
I mean like he has other work, but I'm saying like as far as like widely acclaimed and everybody's seen it. So this was that thing that I'm like, yo, Chris Hemsworth, this guy can do action movies. Get him into more stuff. I think he's like got like two more Marvel movies and then he's done. Like, get this guy in some action movies, like a stat, like right now. Let's go.
Again, this movie was. Let me see here. This was um, where is it here? $65 million budget on location in Bangladesh.
That's just Netflix money. They're just like, here's a bag, here's 2 bags, go.
That's pretty good for this like on location flick. Like I said, this is
Mhm.
this. I highly recommend watching this movie if you're into military mercenary sort of stuff. If you're looking at something in the
Yeah,
same sort of realm as Jason Bourne, this is a really good movie. Um,
yeah. It's
one of
based
the
on a novel, I believe.
oh really?
Yeah,
One
I
of the
believe.
things
Don't quote me
okay.
on this. I believe it. I believe it's based on a novel.
One of the things that sort of just tripped me up a little bit was at the end, one of his goons, which was a sort of a young guy, a teenager or whatever, he actually shot him, killed him,
Mm,
or at least we thought he did. And he fell into like this river, right? And I
mm,
was like, when that happened, well, first of all, he got shot. And so he was just standing up against, he was on a bridge, just standing up against the rail, or
mm,
just the stone railing or whatever, right? And then he fell off and into this river. And before that happened, I was like, oh my goodness, this is gonna be like Jason Bourne. Remember when Jason Bourne like got shot and he dove into he dove into the Hudson River, and the guy
mm.
thought he killed him, and then he was just in the water, and then he all of a sudden, miraculously woke up and started swimming away. This guy here, he fell, he got shot. I mean, he got shot in the
Mhm.
neck, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and then he fell into the river. And then like they showed some scenes afterwards where the little boy was in the pool, and when he got out of the pool, there was this figure standing in the background, right? And I was like, oh my goodness, so he actually is alive.
Right.
There there could be an Extraction too. I was like doing some research, and I did
Mm,
Extraction, and the third search term was two. So
Everybody's like, make another movie. Let's go.
could this
I mean, he's
be
got
like
time
the
now.
Australian Jason Bourne or what?
He's finished Thor already, so like he's got time. Like, go make another movie. Let's go.
This was
Get on with it. It
this was a
doesn't
pretty
matter
good
that he
movie.
should be dead. It's
Mhm.
relevant. Make another movie. Let's go.
Um, like I said, there was no really serious CGI or anything like that going on. Being shot in the studio. This was all on location. It was pretty awesome. I really like this film. Give me your rating on this film, Extraction. You could watch it on Netflix. What did you think about Extraction?
Okay, just off of action alone, I give this a solid 8.5.
Mhm.
Just action alone. I mean, add the plot in there, it kind of brings it down to an 8, but it I really enjoyed the movie and I want to see more of it. And that's the thing. The hallmark for me of a good movie is if the world building is excellent and I want to see more of this character and what they're
Yeah.
going through
Hmm.
in another setting, or just add to this thing.
Right.
And this is one of those movies where I liked everything that was going on. Like, this is something that you could see a whole sequence coming out of, making 3-4 movies out of it. You could definitely see it.
Yeah.
If they can make 2 Jack Reacher movies, they can make another Extraction. Like, let's go.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm going to give this movie overall an 8.5 as well, because it was just, again, a movie you turn on and you sit down and you watch it from start to end. It was an almost 2 hour movie, and I did not think that was a long movie,
Mm-hmm.
Extraction, because it was just action, and even just some of the emotional parts that they were bringing in, it still flowed from start to end. It was a great flick. If you're into military mercenary flicks like that, if you are into Jason Bourne type flicks, this is something to sit down and watch. You will enjoy it. I thought it was an excellent movie. Again, I gave it an 8.5. I think the reason why I gave it an 8.5 is because in the end, it was too much like Jason Bourne. And I was just like, you can't mess with Jason. Don't mess with my Jason Bourne. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but I was like, okay, but this is, again, I thought it was a 8.5. Excellent
Mhm.
movie. Highly recommended. Go check it
Yeah.
out. It's on Netflix. And it's a really great movie, and it was the showrunner, directors, everything. It was all around. It
It
was
is
a
solid. Just
solid
turn your
movie.
brain off, enjoy some quality action,
Exactly.
and that's all you gotta say. Like, it sells it. Listen, you have Thor in here, you got the
Yeah,
Russo brothers. It sells itself.
it sells
That's all you gotta
itself.
say. If you
Yeah,
haven't watched it already, you should watch it. Put it like
it's
that.
pretty good. Well, there you have it, folks. Another episode of the Behind the Groove podcast. I am Basil Barrington.
I am DJ Keo.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And until next time, peace.
All right.